Well, folks, I'm back out in this bed. You're probably wondering, when are we going to finish? But it's just been a struggle to get all of our bulbs in on time. And I had this vision in my head that I would do a whole video on the best summer bulbs to plant for the fall. And I imagined I would get all the bulbs in the first week of September, which is typically when I would be planting them. But best laid plans have not come to fruition, and it's just like maybe the second week of October now, and I just got a lot of these bulbs in. So this is bulbs that were supposed to come in 30 days ago, and I just got them, and look at them. You're probably wondering, wow, look at this. Is this a ghost pipe plant? But this is not. I guess you could equate this to when you have the white asparagus and they take all the chlorophyll out because they don't showcase it to the sun. I got all these bulbs in. These are Colchicums. I introduced this in one of my last videos. And they have not waited for the sun. All the energy in these bulbs have started to come out. And this is typically supposed to be green, a little white, and then some kind of purplish, pinkish shade of flower. And I don't know if these will get any color this year, although it's been a very sunny week, so I want to plant these ASAP. I just literally got them in yesterday, so I was like, you know what, let's do another film on this. But I have a lot of the summer bulbs that you should plant in the summer that will bloom in the fall. And some of them are in various stages of emergence, like these Colchicums. But I wanted to show you all the different species and varieties that are out there. And I cannot blame, entirely the port strike that we had on the East Coast, because that was just very temporary. It's been postponed until January, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I just don't know what happened. But this seemed to be the most kind of disorganized year for bulbs being sent. Normally I would get them all within a week of one another, and now I've been getting bulbs just a little bit here, a little bit there. So these Colchicums, I've had this happen to me before where I got a number of our trilliums in that had accidentally bloomed, and they kind of looked like this. And I was like, I don't know if these are going to emerge next year. And they did. So what I'm going to try to do today is get these in, put some bulb tone in there. As you could see, they emerge even without any kind of fertilizer because all that sugar and goodness, all the nutrition is coming up from this bulb. But now they have to get as much sugar back into their system, and you could see that they're not producing any sugar because there's no green, there's no chlorophyll. So they need to get that energy back into the bulb before they completely expire. And so this is going to be a close call. They may not be, as healthy next year, and that's just something that we have to contend with. So I'm going to get these in quickly. Now this one is a cultivar called Colchicum Lilac Wonder. So I'll show you. And part of the reason why I ordered from this place is because I could get these for a lot cheaper. And maybe you get what you pay for. So this is the Lilac Wonder. I'm going to pull these all out because there was one that I saw, maybe not of this variety, that had the flower that was out and it had a little bit of color. This one is called Colchicum Lilac Better. And you can see that's where the flower would be. And you may recall that I said the Colchicums to me feel a bit more tissue papery. Here you go, you can see they're almost like white flowers. This is insane. Just a little tinge of lavender and purple there on the edges, but that's what the color is supposed to be. Yeah, they feel a little bit more tissue papery to me compared to a regular crocus. Here's another one. Could see that it would have been tinged color purple.
So they do have enough energy to last, like even if they don't do anything this year, they'll come up next year?
They will likely come up next year, but they might not be as vigorous.
I see.
Because they need all that chlorophyll in order to put the energy into their bulbs next year. So I would not be surprised if maybe they have smaller blooms. That's why I'm going to give them a little bulb tone just in case, because if they then start to put their roots out and I'm giving them a little extra nutrition just to pump through that they had been lacking, you know, because they don't have any chlorophyll at this stage. But you'd be surprised how quickly they gain chlorophyll as soon as you put light on them. But the challenge with this is because they don't have any chlorophyll, there's no chlorophyll being produced here.
Are they gonna get sunburned?
They might get sunburned. Yeah, so they might damage their cells. So the next one I want to show you is Colchicum byzantium. This is a hybrid between two colchicums. And then I have Colchicum speciosum, which is one that looks like it may actually still emerge this year. So this one is the species version, not the cultivated variety. And so let me go ahead and plant these in, and then I'll show you the rest of what I have, which are not colchicums. Now these will spread quite nicely. And as I shared, they are a bit more expensive than your typical crocuses, your spring blooming crocuses, but they will spread nicely. And they get, as you can see, these are stretching up towards the light, but they are quite large. They will go up to like 8, 9, 10 inches tall. Normally the crocuses don't get touched. It's the tulips that entice the deer. So I just showed you the Colchicum speciosum. So again, I'm gonna plant these. This has a nice papery sheath around it. You're gonna wanna kind of squeeze them a little bit and make sure that they're not like ooey or gooey. Typically when they take a little while to get to us, they are in climate controlled bins. Here's this one's just starting to grow out. You can see little tinges of pinkish purple. But at some point, the bulbs are just like, no way, I'm just gonna continue to emerge. So the next one I have is fall blooming crocus. This is called Conqueror. And these are just starting to emerge as well, and you can see how much smaller they are. These are a true baby or sky blue color. Absolutely gorgeous. They look like regular crocuses that you would see blooming in the springtime, but these bloom in the fall. So I'm really looking forward to some of these. I got 2 packets of those, and there's 24 per packet. Then I have Crocus speciosus, which is similar to the fall blooming crocus called the Conqueror, except this has a bit more of a lavender shade. And these look quite prolific. I mean, look at that. This one has 3 different heads coming up. This one does too. So I plant these in just like this, about 2 inches down, not more than that. And, you know, typically if you're planting a deep bulb, like we were planting the Camassia bulbs, and we were planting those 6, 7, 8 inches down, these are wonderful types of bulbs that you could just plant right above the Camassia bulbs and within the same column, which is pretty neat. And these are going to emerge at a completely different time because the Camassia come out in May, and these would come out in late September, October, technically. Finally, and one of the folks who commented on one of the last videos said, oh, you should plant Sternbergia. And this is called fall blooming daffodil. And you can see they have this like dark color. It almost looks as if they were put in a stone-fired oven. And they look like little onions, but they have really bright yellow flowers. And I love the idea of having bulbs that are blooming in the springtime, and oftentimes like the crocuses, the snow crocuses, along with the aranthus and the galanthus are some of the first bloomers. Literally in February and March, they're coming up. And then you could have some of these bulbs at the tail end of blooming season, along the lines of like the Verbena bonariensis blooming or the asters blooming. You could have these bulbs as well. And I will say that I've been walking out here and there's less and less blooms, but there's still quite a bit of bees. and other pollinators, particularly wasps, yellow jackets, things like that, that are out there busily trying to get as much nectar and pollen before the season ends. So anyway, I'm gonna get some of these Sternbergia, and because these are bright yellow, I kind of want to plant them, let's plant them right around here where I planted some of the others. And I want to be very mindful. If you recall, I planted a lot of the fall blooming bulbs in this centerpiece because a lot of the spring bloomers I'm going to be planting along the edge because I do not want to mess up what I've planted and having to walk into the center of the bed. And I'm going to put these Sternbergias like literally 2 inches from one another because they're smaller bulbs and they can handle that. It actually looks good when they're bunched up together. And I'll surely do a video as well, like if we still have a warm fall, which it seems like we are having a warm fall, then I'll show you what the blooms look like if they do come up and monitor that. I don't even have to use my hoary knife because this raised bed mix is just so nice and soft. One thing I will say is that when I come down here, sometimes there's an animal that kind of digs up. But look at all these little, these are the other Colchicums that I had, or the other Crocuses that I had planted that are coming up right here. So you can see their little fingers pointing up. So this one is called Sternbergia lutea. So this is a species. Let's plant them right around the roses. And this will be nice because a lot of I do have yellow flowers in here, like the moonshine achillea, but this will be nice in the middle. You'll have like this little shock of yellow. And again, I didn't buy a ton of these because you'll find out that the fall blooming bulbs are much more expensive than the ones that bloom in spring. Let's, for good measure, plant some of the Crocus speciosus, and then we'll call it a day. And as I get more plants, I'll be planting them in the gardens. It just seems like everything is gonna take a lot longer this time around. Look at some of these flowers. Oh, they would have been so sweet. And the stamens, I mean, look at the stamens. They have perfect, beautiful pollen on. That would have been a good source for some of our pollinators, late season pollinators. I think with the blue ones, it'd be nice to kind of plant them in this mix of achillea. Is just sprinkle the bulb tone all over and then work it in. So as I shared, I'll keep you informed. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, we'll be lucky enough to see some of these flower. We will have sun for the rest of the week, but it's going to start to get rainy again. So I'll probably be out here every day or every other day, taking a look and seeing how they progress. So I wanted to come out here. It's just a couple days since we planted these Colchicums, and we had 2 very sunny days, and you could see how they're starting to color up again, which is just so nice to see. They are a little stringy, I would say, so typically they would be strong enough to hold their heads up. As you can see, just 2 days ago they were white as ghosts, and now they're emerging and looking a little bit more normal. So I suspect these will be just totally fine. They'll come up at normal times next year and look probably even better, but just wanted to give you that update. If you've been enjoying these videos, give the channel a follow, tap the notifications button so you know when we drop the next video, and become a member of the channel to support our work. We'll be wrapping up the garden chores here in the next couple months and switching gears to more renovations and interviews around the area, so stay tuned here. We'll see you in the next video.